What's going on, my beautiful people? I'm coming at you with a video today. So you're thinking about getting your CDLs. Okay. With the next couple of videos, I'm going to give you the full details about the trucking industry and the pros and the cons, basically. But today, first video. First of all, like and subscribe. You get all the updates of my upcoming videos that talking about the trucking industry and about getting your CDL, the whole process, the whole nine. About, once you actually get into that truck and start driving on your own, what it's gonna be like. Some good, some bad, but we gonna get into that. Alright, so you're thinking about getting your CDLs. Okay, alright. First thing before you even sign up for a class to get your CDLs, and there's plenty of different classes out there, plenty of different prices. I don't think it matters where you go, but you can also sign up for a company where they train you on the road to get your CDL. I believe that's how they doing it nowadays. But I started at the end of 2012, somewhere around that time. I enrolled in a class, Roadmaster, here in where it was in Arkansas when I enrolled. But yeah, it was a 4 weeks class, nighttime, a few hours at night. There's a portion where you actually in the truck backing up, showing all, learning the skills of backing up and everything. There's a classroom portion where you take tests and everything. You gotta do your pre-trip every time. Show that you can do all that, pass all that. But the first thing you want to do when you're thinking about getting your CDL, you gotta ask yourself, are you in a position to be away from home all the time? And what that means is you're gonna be over the road, more than likely. Starting off for, I think they said, well, when I started, you had to be over the road, had over the road experience for maybe 15 months. And then you're able to, transition into whatever position that you want to. Just like any career, same as a doctor. You gotta be in an emergency room for a certain amount of hours, whatever. So yeah, you gotta be over the road, get your over the road experience for 12 months, or 15 months, I'm sorry. And then you can come back and apply to any position that you want in any company. But now, and in 2024, you can actually get on one of these jobs with no experience, no local experience or whatever, and they will actually train you. I know a few companies that will actually do that, but yeah, you have to ask yourself, are you in a position where you can be away from home all the time? You're gonna be going from state to state to state, and you're gonna have to sleep in the back of the truck. Some companies may put you up in a hotel room. It all depends on the company. But sleeping in the back of the truck at rest stops, truck stops, sometimes on the side of the road. I'm just gonna be all out real with you. There's sometimes where your hours is gonna run out, and you have to pull that truck over to sleep or take a rest for 10 hours before you can actually start back driving again. That's your 10 hours reset. A lot of time, it will be in awkward places where you have no idea where you're at. And yeah, there's some things you got to consider. Do you have kids where you can be away from them all the time? Do you want to? I know nobody wants to miss out on their kids' upbringing, but some people have to make that sacrifice in order to provide. Some people, look at this is the only way to provide, and for most, it is. You can make a great amount of money in trucking, no doubt. You can make a great amount of money as long as you with the right company, as you have the ability to keep those wheels running. You can make a substantial living, and most companies pay bi-weekly. No, not bi-weekly. I'm sorry. Most companies pay weekly, because you're out on the road and all that time. You know what I'm saying? You gotta pay for food. You gotta, pay for showers. Yeah, sometimes you gotta shower at truck stops if you're out on the road or whatever. You know what I'm saying? You're not in the hotel room. Yeah, your paychecks, depending on what company, don't get me wrong, depending on the company, your paychecks will be maybe between 1,000 to 2,000 plus per week. But most companies, when you over the road, OTR, I'm sorry to say, but most over the road companies, unless you're going a long distance, you're really not gonna bring home that much. You're really not gonna make that much money. But if you're lucky enough to get if you want to be over the road and you're lucky enough to get a team position where you and another driver is driving, basically you drive 11 hours, and then after your 11 hours, the next driver drive 11 hours. So you drive 11 hours, then you sleep for 10 hours. He drive for 11, he or she drive for 11 hours. Then they sleep, then you guys rotate. So that wheel is always turning. And what that does is, that boosts your pay up, because the wheels just never stop rolling. You're always going, and you can rack up more miles that way. What else? If you're thinking about getting a Class A CDLs where you can drive an 18 wheelers, you don't necessarily have to get your other endorsements, but it's highly recommended to get your hazmat, tankers and doubles. Tankers, triples and doubles. I'm sorry. Those three are going to get you the most money. Not saying that you cannot make money without those, but most companies haul hazardous materials, and if you don't have your hazmat on your license, you cannot carry those loads. They're gonna have to make special loads for you because you don't have your hazmat, and most companies will not. Local companies, preferably, most local companies will not hire you if you do not have your hazmat. But before you actually think about getting your CDLs, you got to consider the fact of you're going to be gone all the time. So are you in the position to be gone from home all the time? I know sometimes that's a blessing for some people, and sometimes that's a curse. So you have to really consider that. Now, you have to consider if you have kids. If you're an over-the-road driver, you probably only going to see your kids only on the weekends. So you gotta consider the fact of, do you want to miss out on their upbringing? Sometimes you can get a position where you're home every other day, such as when I first started. I first started with Schneider International, great company, by the way. I started off as a team driver, and I'm gonna get into that in a minute. I was home every other day, and also on the weekend. Going from Memphis to Colorado, I'm pretty sure you're thinking, how was you home every other day going from Memphis to Colorado? Like I said, I was a team driver. So what that means is I drive for 10 hours. My co-partner, I drive for 11 hours. Back then it was 10 hours. I drive for 11 hours, then I sleep for 10. He drive for 11 hours and he sleep for 10. So therefore, the wheels on the bus, as we said, as we used to say, but the wheels on the truck is always rolling. It's never stopped anywhere. Only time we're stopped for our 30-minute break. And I know some of you thinking like, damn. So you're on the clock for 14 hours. You drive for 11 hours, and you only stop for 30 minutes of break. You can take 30 minutes to an hour break. It all depends on your company, and it all depends on where you're going. I know a lot of people cannot drive straight for 11 hours. I had to get used to it. It's very hard, but I had to get used to it. But there's a lot of money that you can make in the trucking industry. Paychecks are distributed every week with most companies. Paychecks, you can see a paycheck within $1,000 to $2,500, $3,000 a week. It all depends on your company and all depends on you, how you rode. Now, if you are an OTR, over the road driver, you could possibly make $1,500 to $2,000 a week. But again, it's all about you, your communication, your drive level, your ability to be out on the road, like for 7 days of the week, 7 days of a week, 14 days, which is 2 weeks. Some companies will put you out on the road for 3 weeks, or maybe even 4 weeks, or 3 weeks and 1 week at home. Or you may be out 3 weeks and 2 days at home, or 2 weeks and 2 days at home. It all depends on the company, and it all depends on how you want to move. Now, the trucking industry is a fairly great industry. It has its ups and downs, but it's all about you. I mean, some people like to travel, so you could travel while you work. So you could travel while you making money. You know what I'm saying? You can your dispatch may send you to California. You be like, "Ooh, I always wanted to go to California." So you may go up there. You may go to Colorado. Colorado is a very beautiful scenery. I drove up there to deliver loads and everything, but I never spent time in Colorado. But going to Aurora, Colorado, beautiful. The beautiful scenery. You meet a lot of great people out on the road. You have a alone time. That could be a major benefit. You don't have a nagging boss over you 24/7. Like they said, you the pilot of your own ship. So meaning you're the driver of that truck, that big machinery that's using to haul all these loads. That's another thing you got to consider. Can you handle that big 18-wheeler truck? And what I do mean handle, you have to handle that, because every mistake is on you. If you do not know how to drive a car, you do not need to be in that truck. So with that being said, you have to be very careful. You have to be very attentive. You have to watch out for everything and everyone when you're in that truck. You know, it is, you know, it could be an exciting thing, but it's also a very dangerous thing. You know, so if you want to be a truck driver or be in the trucking industry, by all means, go for it. Do not hesitate. You know, like I said, it's great money in it, but there is some sacrifices that you're gonna have to consider while being in this field. You know, like I said, is getting your CDLs. You can sign up for a class. You can join a company where they train you to get your CDL. It's various ways nowadays to get your CDL. Roadmaster, they was great. They trained me. They placed me with a position that I was happy with at that time. Great money. Able to provide, able to take care of myself, and especially for a person coming from a restaurant job, and you know, getting out of that restaurant job making only what, maybe $10 an hour. You know, going from that to a $1,800 check each week, you can't beat it. You know, if you're money driven like that, you can't beat it. You know, you can even get your own truck after getting your experience up. You know, get your own truck. Yeah, with your own truck. that's gonna be for another video. So stay tuned for that. But yeah, it's many different ways you can make money in the trucking industry. So if you're in a tight bind, if you know you're struggling for so long and you want to get out of that situation, and you got kids you got to take care of, you got a mama, you got a daddy, you got a wife, girlfriend, however, it's money in it. It is. But it's all up to you how much money you want to make. And what that means, you're gonna have to be gone from home a lot. You know, so. But that's my video for the day of if you want to get into the trucking industry. I'm very encouraging of it. But like I said, there's pros and cons. This is the pro video. You want to get into my con video? Like, subscribe, and watch out for it.